Why my husband and I drive a Skoda, making more than 200,000 euros a year. In today's video, I'm talking about priorities and how you should engineer your brain to perform as a Ferrari while driving an average car in real life and being the happiest person around. Hi, welcome to The Money Talk with Miriam, a channel where we make finances simple and share ways to give your kids a solid financial foundation while having fun. If you're new here, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell next to it. So let's jump to it. I remember from my years in Dubai that every day on my way to work, I was driving next to Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Aston Martins, you name it. One day, having a coffee break with my colleagues, I shared my astonishment, and one of them, who had been living in Dubai for a long time, told me that most of these people were driving every day from the emirate next to Dubai because they couldn't afford to live in Dubai. So these people would rather have a luxury car to look rich than having an average car and live closer to work. Isn't that sad? And you won't believe that, but during the 2009 economic crisis, people in Dubai were leaving their luxury cars at the airport and running away from the country because they had lost their jobs and couldn't afford the car anymore. The law in Dubai back then stated that the failure to pay back debt was a criminal offense facing the risk of prison. So to avoid prison, people were going into exile. And we go back to one of my favorite topics, looking rich versus being rich. Do you want to measure how rich you are? Ask yourself this question. If I would lose my job tomorrow, how long could I survive? The true ingredient to building wealth is to live below your means. That's simple. Wealth starts in our minds in understanding that we need to create a solid foundation before we go and buy the expensive stuff. So if you ask me, why do you drive a Skoda if you could drive a BMW or a Mercedes or even a Tesla? I mean, who doesn't like to drive a fancy car? The answer for me is very easy. Priorities. Our number one priority is financial freedom. What do I mean by that? I mean, not relying on one single source of income like our jobs. Rather than buying an expensive car, we're driving a 29,000 euro car and investing our money into different things. Things that I will explain in another video are helping us create several revenue streams that will help us pay our bills if we ever lose our jobs. It's not the money we're after, it's the freedom to live life on our own terms. Our determination to get financially free is much stronger than our wish to look rich. In other words, we couldn't care less about what people think of us because we drive a Skoda. In fact, it comforts us to know that we're not the only ones out there with the same mindset. According to some data shared by Dave Ramsey in 2019, only 39% of American households making more than $250,000 a year choose to drive a luxury car. The rest drive average cars like ours. On the other hand, though, almost 10% of people making less than $100,000 a year own a luxury car. So let's say someone making $50,000 a year owns a $50,000 car. Isn't that crazy? Mark Zuckerberg was one of the world's richest men of 2020, and he drives an Acura TSX. I had to go and Google it because I had no idea what car it was. It turns out to be an old Honda model that was last manufactured in 2014. Yes, Mark also owns a Volkswagen GTI and an Honda Fit, but none of those cars are worth more than $30,000 each. Jack Ma, the co-founder of Alibaba Group and the richest man in China, drives a Rowe RX-5 SUV, another car that I had to Google, which has a base price of just $15,000. Larry Page, the co-founder of Google, with a net worth of $64 billion, drives a Toyota Prius. His buddy Sergey drives a Prius too, and his net worth is $62 billion. Steve Ballmer, the former CEO of Microsoft, worth $70 billion, drives a Ford Fusion Hybrid, a car that you could buy today for about $25,000. And then there is Warren Buffett. He consistently ranks amongst the top 5 richest men in the world. In 2014, he bought the most expensive car that he has ever owned, a Cadillac XTS. You could buy the latest edition today for about $45,000. Even the world's richest man, Jeff Bezos, owns a private jet which offers him convenience as he travels the world for business. But he was driving a Honda Accord for many, many years. What's this?
You yourself are worth somewhere in the vicinity of $9 or $10 billion today. I only say that because I've got a follow-up question.
Okay.
What's with the Honda?
This is a perfectly good car.
These are people that they don't need a supercar to feel good about themselves. And here's where I ask you, how often do you talk about finances and money goals with your partner? Not discussions over bills or why you bought this or bought that. I'm talking about having a real conversation about the way you handle your money, knowing about how much you want to be saving and why for, or talking about what are your spending habits and if they're the right ones. My husband and I do it, if not on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. We review our current monthly expenses, adjusting spending if needed. We talk about investment opportunities. We review our short, mid, and long-term goals at least once a month. And all this while we'll still have a social life, travel, and dine out. So tell me, is your goal to drive a nice car or to be financially free? If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to my channel to watch more videos talking about money and making finances more approachable. See you in my next video.